I don't think there's any danger of PPD doing that, is there?
Not him in particular. I was thinking more about some of the more loose cannons on the squad.
Yeah, okay. So, draft is almost upon us. And as we head into it, what are we expecting from the draft? Are we expecting the bans that eHome came out with yesterday, perhaps?
They either play against the Wisp Tiny, or they ban a component, or they have a strategy against it. Which I think it's more likely that they have a strat against it. Maybe Disruptor, something like that. Send a Wisp or a Tiny back.
Depends on whether or not OG ban AA here. I think if OG ban AA here, EG's okay potentially with letting Wisp through. I think another counter that we saw to the Tiny and the Wisp and the Undying is the Timbersaw, which we didn't really see eHome run, but it's really good versus the 3 strength heroes that they run.
I think one assessment PPD could be making is that there are so many of these must-ban heroes that if you just leave them all in, we've seen that throughout the tournament, some of them just go through Slaughter sometime unpicked, Doombringer sometimes unpicked. If he just goes for a Shadow Priest and a Wisp ban, he already removes some of the biggest strengths of OG. OG actually bans out the Undying knowing that they're going for a different first pick and that Evil Geniuses will probably pick it up. So he does go for the Wisp ban. I think this is a really, really smart move on PPD. I would have done the same thing, just because he and I have a mental connection.
Would you ban the Undying if you were OG?
Yeah, I thought that was a really clever ban as well. I was just kidding. PPD is levels ahead of me.
Ban all the fear heroes.
But we do get to see the Miracle Shadow Fiend, not something that they're allowed in many other matches.
I think a smart pick right now, a hero that has been sort of fallen back in the meta is the Spirit Breaker. I really like that going up against the Shadow Fiend, especially when it doesn't have the Shadow Priest. The Dazzle support, sorry, there's a lot of people who's complaining about me always saying Shadow Priest. It is because I'm just not...
The one true Dota 1 gamer.
Yeah.
Winter Wyvern was going to say neither of those picks. I'm going to shut my mouth now.
So they also leave Slaughter in the pool. Probably the hero Moon Meander has been the most dominant on. It's a bit worrisome that they're giving OG...
Yeah. It's good with Shadow Fiend too.
Yeah. Question is whether Fly is worried about what kind of supports they'll end up with, because Evil Geniuses can continue banning out support heroes now.
What if OG just takes AA right now? Decent counter to Wyvern. Decent against Bursting Doom.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, we talked a lot about this yesterday, how we feel like AA is sometimes undervalued by the teams, and that we on the desk prefer it over some of the other picks that comes out. I think AA right here would be better than the Slaughter, but I wouldn't fault them for picking up the Slaughter either. There is Tusk in the pool still.
Is this the game he won't be picked? Or banned?
He's had one.
He did get through once? Okay.
Yep, we have had one game.
Really?
The entire tournament. Yep.
I missed that.
Just the one.
You go for a Darkseer.
He's been picked or banned 91 times out of the 92 previous drafts.
I think they're going to do the double mech into mech pipe Crimson Guard build this game.
Did win the game yesterday.
It was, dude, when they popped mech that fight, I was like, why doesn't anybody buy pipe? You know, it's so good.
I ask that question a lot. But Evil Geniuses, one of the weaknesses of the draft is that they don't play Meepo at all. So they always have to anticipate that, especially with the 2 teams remaining, OG and Secret being the most
Same applies to the Wisp.
Yeah, and I think they also need to... that's why they highly prioritize the Winter Wyvern. I think they play it again a lot versus other teams, but I think even more so versus these 2 teams because of the Meepo. Although sometimes they pick Winter Wyvern and still ban Meepo, which I think is a little redundant. So you were talking about the Slardar, which could actually, I guess, be better for Evil Geniuses at this point. Does OG need to consider banning it?
Yeah, I think it's less likely that OG will pick it up now. Moonbeard already has his hero. There's a Shadow Fiend on the middle lane, unless No-Tail wants to play a farming Blinkdagger Slaughter. We've seen that being played from time to time in European Dota especially.
It seems like No-Tail prefers burst heroes though. Yeah. Like Slardar's an initiator, he can do some DPS afterwards. He's more of a initiator, not a...
But I think Crit's more likely to play the Slardar than No-Tail.
Yeah, but question is if there's better heroes for that kind of role then. They do ban out the Juggernaut, a hero that Evil Geniuses seem to prefer picking up, especially against Secret yesterday.
It's decent versus Darkseer's well in lane.
So are we going to see the Spirit Breaker coming out for Evil Geniuses?
I think that'd be a great pick.
Remaining.
Despite not having the Ancient Aberrations to follow up with it, I still think it's one of the better heroes up against the Shadow Fiend. Alternatively, they can just go for a Tusk or a Night Stalker, still put a lot of pressure on it.
Reserved.
They could even take a page out of the Chinese playbook and go for a Bounty Hunter. I think that's more unlikely.
So with Darkseer, it always lends a question, are they going to run with the Ember Spirit for perhaps no-till? I mean, have we even seen no-till play that much Ember Spirit? I remember they experimented with it a few times, and then they just, after they lost, they were just like, no, we're done with this. We're going to give it to Miracle exclusively. But I think that limits their draft.
It definitely seems like No-Tail's hero pool is the most limited on their team, at least the heroes that they do pick him. It's almost always on Tiny or Phantom Lancer. Doesn't seem very diverse.
It seems Evil Geniuses could very easily go for either Queen of Pain or the Ember Spirit right now. I think a Queen of Pain pickup would be great. It's good for helping out applying pressure on the Shadow Fiend in the lane. We've seen Sumail's Queen of Pain being one of the best in the world. There are no real counters for it, they already have to do themselves.
The only problem with picking it up here is that it seems like EG is prioritizing putting Sumail in the safe lane 1v1s rather than RTZ.
Reserved.
If they put him in the safe lane, they usually give him support cover, RTZ that is.
They can still do that.
I would say Sumail's ability to come back from getting killed a couple times is better. Maybe this is why EG prioritized that.
So the Tusk is back. This time in the hands of Evil Geniuses.
It's really good versus SF in the early game. Good versus Darkseer as well, until they get 4 staff or something like that.
You like the PL pickup for OG?
Yeah, I think it's a good pickup.
It's okay here, yeah.
10 seconds.
We've had 3 games on Phantom Lancer from No-Tail
5
during the Frankfurt Major.
Or Viper even, I suppose. Viper's also pretty good versus those 3 heroes.
It's good against the heroes, but it has very little synergy with Darkseer and the Shadow Fiend. I think if they want to go all out and looking at what supports a bundle so far, we get a treat. The Crit Rubik.
I think that's one of the reasons EG picked up Winter Wyvern in the first round, because his Winter Wyvern was so good. They may not fear his other heroes.
I think his Rubik is better.
Really. It's very good, I think. I was really impressed by his Wyvern last night. It's a pretty good Rubik game. If Tusk initiates on you, it's a little scary, but...
So now we're going to see if Evil Genius, like, how do they want to deal with the Shadow Fiend and the Darkseer? These 2 heroes just play extremely well greedily. They can take over the opponent's jungle as well as your own jungle. So either they need heroes that can dominate the lane really hard, which is like the Queen of Pain Spirit Breaker line that Jacob was thinking of, or they need heroes that can invade the jungle. I guess there's a lot of overlap in those, but Bounty Hunter comes to mind.
But it's too late going for... I don't think they go for neither Spirit Breaker nor a Bounty Hunter now. They already have the Tusk probably being played by Fear with Universe on the Doombringer.
Could be Sumail as well. He was playing Doom. Played at least one
Yeah,
game,
he
I
played
believe.
one at least. So OG actually run Venomancer pretty often, which I know Jacob, you like that hero a lot. Why do you think we haven't seen that hero at all, even though OG in secret favored it coming into this?
Takes up too much farm.
Does it?
You don't have to farm heavily with it.
It just benefits from it.
I wouldn't say it's amazing versus Tusk and lane either.
Yeah, I think they can still run the PL though. That seems pretty safe. Pretty safe here.
Also, with as much heal as there's been in the meta, it sort of negates all the damage output from a Venomancer. One of the key reasons for why it hasn't been picked up. You need that kind of burst or disable from the supports.
So EG slightly picking themselves into a corner for the fact that PL is very good versus TA. If you swarm him with illusions, he can't cleave them very easily. Lots of damage sources. Mana Drain as well prevents you from melding, refracting.
I'm very surprised they haven't picked up neither Ember Spirit nor the Queen of Pain. I felt like this would be a great game for them. The only real issue being the Rubik.
So they ban it here is the question. Maybe that's what EG says. Our 5th pick is going to counter PL. Because it was pretty clear that OG was going to pick it, I feel. The ban Anti-Mage. They go...
Oh,
Okay, so off-lane
you were
Tusk.
right. This is an off-lane Tusk.
Okay, final pick from OG. Where do we go here?
They have, I I think much better late game. Like the Phantom Lancer, if he gets even like a modicum of farm, I think he'll be able to handle the TA and the Doom pretty well. So just need to.
I think even a
secure their lane
Crystal
space.
Maiden would be actually be decent with this lineup.
Yeah.
All 4 heroes benefit a lot from the aura. It combos well with the Darkseer. They need some early game pressure as much as they can get on the lane. It's
Is
good
that enough damage though to deal with
5 seconds
the
remaining.
Doom and the Tusk pressure? And is it enough early game to handle the Lich? I suppose.
I think it's decent. The alternative you was talking about, Venomancer's pretty good up against the Templar Assassin. Gives them a decent amount of map control once the wards get leveled
I
up.
think it's a little too slow though. I like Beastmaster or CM more.
You don't think it's greedy picking up a Beastmaster? Also, considering Crit is most likely to play the Rubik already, I think it's a fly hero we're looking at.
And Treant is the final pick of the first draft for game 1. Here we go then, let's find out. OG versus Evil Geniuses.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are live here in Frankfurt for Championship Saturday, the first ever Valve Dota 2 Major. Today, we will crown the first ever champion for that major. I'm LD. I'm joined here to my right by Blitz. Blitz, it has been a miraculous run, some might say, for OG. They have taken down Fnatic, Mineski, Virtus Pro, CDEC, and eHome to get here. They are 9-2 in their last 11 games. The green dream is strong, but the boys in blue, they stand in opposition. Do you think OG can punch through?
Every single time that I doubt OG or I doubt their ability to make it through into a finals, they managed to do it. This is a team that historically, new teams like this never really have that kind of success. You know, even Sumail at his first tournament had some nerve issues and stuff like that, but I mean, the fact that they're even going to get top 3 at this point is pretty amazing.
Should they manage to do it? OG, as we hop into game number 1, would have officially laid claim to the best lower bracket run in the history of Dota 2. It would be one for the books. It already is the best lower bracket run, but they don't want it to end here. Here we are, folks. We're into it now. The teams enter the battlefield. The game begins. EG versus OG. Game 1. Crit gonna get scouted out here, and then they're gonna roll on him.
That's a 4-man snowball.
That's a big dive. Crit does get surge. Quick reactions, but Moon is also forced to skill up surge off the bat. Generally not what you want to see out of your Darkseer.
Yeah, that's actually fairly disastrous, especially if they decide to just sit a hero down here at bottom now, because the Darkseer no longer has the easiest way to get free XP. The Surge level 1, he had to skill it. That's one of those situations where if he doesn't get it, it's a sure death.
Let's see if it is going to end up costing him here. Is OG going to rotate back the rune? Spawning only in 10 seconds. The other nice thing for EG Blitz is that they kept OG out of their jungle. So there's no aggressive wards planted down here, though. I do want to point out the Ancients got blocked. This is something teams have not always been disciplined about, but we'll have a little
fighting over
skirmish
this first
here.
rune.
At the bottom rune, the bounty going to go to the PL. Nicely done. Denying Arteezy this as he heads towards the bottom lane. Wrapping back, and meanwhile, PPD also being pursued a bit by Fly. So in the end, Arteezy is going to settle towards the bottom side of the map.
He might have to just buy a TP.
It looks like it.
Yeah, he's going to even sell a branch just for this.
This almost makes up for the Darkseer. As, well, I guess Miracle didn't get his bounty run either, but didn't have to buy the TP.
Yeah, that's going to go for the Tusk. So the offlane from EG is going to have a much easier time this time around. And we're already seeing Arteezy being given a lot of
bottom lane. A big skirmish breaking out here as Fly is trying to go blow for blow with Sumail. And Doom, as he so often does, barely going to emerge on top. So the first blood of your lower bracket finals does go to EG. But there is a quick retaliation kill out of Crit.
And that's an okay trade for EG because this is a dual lane. This is a lane that they don't expect to really win. All they're trying to do is focus more of their attention on this mid lane for this Shadow Fiend versus Templar Assassin matchup. And the Shadow Fiend typically will do okay at these early stages just because you can raise. As weird as it sounds, you can right-click off the refractions when it has early charges. But as the matchup starts to progress, it definitely goes in TA's favor, and especially with the help of the Lich.
Miracle posting up pretty aggressively here in the mid lane. Sitting at level 2 so far, only 1 CS though. As you mentioned, up against the Lich, it's always going to be tough. And Fear not only getting the denies out here, but then Zoni Miracle even further, even going in now, is going to...
the Ion Shell, but he's still getting bullied quite a bit, and Universe has taken advantage of that level 1 surge already.
It's not just that, it was the fact that he was able to get the bounty rune early on. Helps him so much in this 1v1 matchup. He's going to be able to grab boots a lot sooner, and this is going to allow him to force out Moon Meander, maybe to even use the surge a little bit earlier than he would like. And now that Moon Meander is level 3, it should be okay.
So Moon does get harassed here a bit by the shards. He's going to post up on Universe. Meanwhile, the bottom rune, it is a haste, but it's denied by PPD. Very well played there. In fact, going in on crit with the Arctic Burn. Rubik going to be forced back. So great play by PPD. He's as good as 2 supports in that case.
Yeah, and they've been still aggressive tri-laning bottom. The Rubik is going to be sent back. He even has a TP available, so they might just decide to go for a gank here in this mid lane or some sort of rotation to help out. And this is one of the dangerous things about aggro tri-laning is that one of your supports can just rotate over and help one of the 2 lanes, and nobody will be the wiser.
So how do you feel overall about the way the lanes have developed here, Blitz? It seems like early on EG are pulling ahead very slightly with the Shadow Fiend having a pretty rough start. There aren't any stacks for him either right now because of this aggressive tri-lane. Are you more satisfied as EG?
I think you are, but if you're OG, you're not too fearful yet. You don't have any stacks, but Crit has to get this kill. He might even smoke up for this. They do have the level 2 raise available on the Shadow Fiend, but they really need to help him out. He has 5 CS right now compared to RTZ's 18, and normally this is okay because the SF can catch up through stacks, but not when he's this far behind, and especially when both of the supports are forced at bottom, and it's so hard for the dire side SF to stack for himself.
Uh-oh, Crit is going to reveal himself now as they've got the Hill Ward, so any chance of a sneaky play on mid is just gone out the window. Maybe he just wants to sit here and protect, but with the Lich, they don't really need to dive. They can win this one passively. Bidisu No-Tail posting up in the bottom lane. He is also farming rather well. 18-9. The Doom, not the best CS, but Sumail is getting his level, so a very slow start after a pretty aggressive 0-minute mark. We've settled into a farming rhythm. We see the TA big camp getting stacked up. They did try for a D ward here at their Ancients, but it was an airball. So no Ancient stacks. That will be good news for OG.
And this bottom lane is okay for Sumail because it's a Doom. He's always going to be able to catch up through the mechanic of Devour, even if he's a little bit behind the Phantom Lancer. And it's a lot easier for their safe lane as a Doom to be able to go to the jungle, for example, LD, than a Phantom Lancer is. And in mid lane, Miracle's getting pretty low. One more right click.
Is it going to be enough? There's the living armor. Doesn't matter. Arteezy gets it done. The first blood since the rune skirmish. EG going to grab that as well. So now the score 2-1.
And this lane has gone absolutely disastrously.
Well, Fly actually is level 3, but he has not opted the skill up anything else.
One more right click here.
He ends up going down there. No-Tail's forced to back away.
Yeah, he's got to run. He's got 1 lance available, but with Sumail popping the Scorcher, there's almost no chance that they're going to get a rebuttal kill.
EG firing on all cylinders. What was a fairly minor lead through those early moments is now ballooned into over a 1,500 gold and experience lead. Yeah, some of it perhaps due to the Lich, but they are just getting more farm in general, Blitz.
Yeah, and they have this Rubik in this mid lane, but there's almost no way to pressure that TA Lich. You notice that Fierce positioning, he's aware that the Rubik wants to try to help out, and he's been forcing him back at all times. But Miracle, he's going to go to the jungle. There's no stacks available for the Shadow Fiend.
This is so slow for a Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, he's only at 11 CS right now. Going to pump himself up to 15 after that very minor jungle camp, but...
And it's not just him, it's the supports as well. Fly, still no boots up. You often see trees. I mean, PPD even at times would pioneer that, where he'd get the early boots and go for a lot of kills, but we're not seeing that. And they are going to finally make that rotation, send the tree over to mid, try to catch him up a bit, but this will just make Arteezy's lane even easier than it already was, as he hunts for that top rune. 6 minutes. And
this
also, the Ancient's going to start spawning now.
Yeah, and this is not the player that you want to give uncontested free farm to. That's the thing about EG that's scary about playing against them, is that all 3 of their cores are so dependable. Like, even Universe right now is 3rd in net worth, just barely behind the Phantom Lancer. And this is the kind of start that you want to see if you're an EG fan, is all their cores are getting what they need right now. Even the Doom, who's been aggressive tri-lane, has had some success. They were able to get kills at the bottom. And as a support LD, you can't afford to die in an aggressive tri-lane. Like, you get stats so far behind because you have nowhere left to go. You gave up the stack. You're not really going for the pull yourself.
Speaking of which, jungle and shut any kind of stacking shenanigans down.
Yeah, he's going to be surprised because there are none available. Moon might actually get a little bit greedy here as he's walking by.
So instead, RTZ will just start farming the Dire jungle because they can't really do anything about it at this stage of the game. Their only reliable damage over time will be that Ion Shell, but Moon way too low to engage. So he'll clear out a double stack. RTZ doing as much economic damage as humanly possible. Miracle only at 25 CS. RTZ at 47, and everywhere else you look, the CS very comparable, with the only bright spot here for OG that No-Tail is slightly ahead of that Doom, but when you factor in the Devour, it's going to be close to a wash.
Yeah, and this TA trap is going to spot out Miracle farming this out. So this is going to be more free farm time, and this is scary because a lot of OG's lineups are dependent on the Roshan early on. They kind of just take the aggression.
Snowball trying to engage. There's the Walrus Punch. Jazoni No-Tail back. And then the
so
charge
low.
coming out. No-Tail in a lot of trouble here. Does have the Doppelganger, but he's pretty much out of the lane at this point. And it didn't really cost Universe all that much. He's going to bottle up. He's already got Arcane Boots. Absolutely fine. EG winning the war of attrition heavily. And also worth mentioning, OG tried to deward their own jungle. Couldn't find any of the 3 traps. Also couldn't find the Observer Ward. So the evil geniuses, feeling like geniuses now, as they see absolutely everything. They've got perfect intelligence as to what OG are up to.
Moon's going to TP top, refill No-Tail's bottle, but can't really pressure this Universe top lane as he's just going to run away, sees both heroes there, and the Ion Shell Phantom Lancer. He's going to get harassed out a little bit more.
They've got Chain Frost. It's the smoke gank from the Lich.
Yeah, this is a really weird timing because they won't expect this. They think RTZ has a big enough lead.
Miracle's up pretty far. Not going to happen. The Chain Frost sends him packing. And Fly might even get dove for this. RTZ's thinking about it. And he goes. The Living Armor cooling down. I think he realizes that as well. And does skill up the Nature's Guys just in order to cover his retreat. But again, EG sees this momentum. They get another ward up in the Dire jungle. What do OG do at this point? They are just being starved, and then on top of that, occasionally killed.
This is still kind of okay for OG because a lot of their lineup does rely on the team fights and the mid-game engagements from heroes like the Darks here, but he might just go down here.
Jump onto Moon, quickly dealt with. There's the shards come out. Universe doing his part together with PPD. The Miracle, they're going to look to dive here. Fly is sitting behind him, but the Living Armor's cooling down. And they
that's
engage,
so much
and
damage!
Miracle gets just blown up by RTZ again.
They really can't
Where's the
afford this
defense?
anymore. That's 2 consecutive deaths for him now, LD, and he's dipping the support territories. He's got 2,300 net worth, no stacks whatsoever to speak of. All the traps are set in place. They've aggressively warded up the Dire jungle. And so even that's not really a safe haven. And at top, because Universe has gotten so much, and all of the abilities from Tusk have such a low cooldown, he's just spamming things out, and the Doom's gonna fly now.
Oh no, even more damage to OG if Moons goes down here. The Living Armor cooling down at 1 second's time. Not gonna matter. Sumail gets it done. It's an Alpha Wolf. More for EG, as though they needed it. As they continue to skyrocket in terms of control, gold, and just general position in the game. Almost a 5,000 gold lead, closing in on a 4,000 experience advantage, 7-1. You can't, even Nahaz can't find a stat to look bright here for OG. This is as bleak as it gets.
Yeah, I would say that this kind of position is recoverable because they have heroes like Darkseer, they have the Shadow Fiend and the Tree. They've got a lot of teamfight LD, but at some point the laning phase, this kind of overwhelming disadvantage, it's really hard to recover from just because you just don't have the items anymore or the levels. Like this Shadow Fiend at 10 minutes into the game is struggling to get treads.
And then even let's say he gets them. You get a farm Shadow Fiend in this game, if that's all you have, or just a farm PL. They've got the solutions for that. The Winter's Curse, as well as the Doom. It's not going to be easy here.
Yeah, things are looking quite rough for them right now as even the Winter Wyvern has quite a lot of farm. He's just behind Crit in net worth. Almost as much as the Shadow Fiend, just 400 behind. And with one tower, he could catch up. And when have we seen PPD eclipse a core before?
The last time he did, EG were beating the crap out of the opposition, that's for damn sure. As he will slowly siege with the Tusk here in the top lane. No defense being mounted of any kind by OG. They are just not confident to fight. Maybe the lone bright spot is Moon getting close to a mech, but still a little bit off, about 550 gold. And now Fear's going to wrap around, may run into him, is going to surge.
backs away, and bottom lane also action about to brew as Sumail comes in. He's got the Doom ready. He's going to Doom no tail. They want to go for the twofer. Crit in a lot of trouble, gets the lift back, tries to turn this one, steals the sigil. Looks like he should be able to make it out, but will no tail be so lucky? The living armor helping to keep him alive. Still, that Doom's got a lot of duration left. They slow him down further with the Arctic Burn. Can he get denied in the neutrals? Not going to happen. EG
Fly's going to get caught out here too.
Then the curse, flawless, absolutely pristine. 9-1 the score. Everybody taking their turn, getting punched by EG. The only hero that hasn't died yet is that Rubik, and well, not sure if Crit can carry this one solo.
No, not in a game like this. Double the net worth of the Shadow Fiend is the TA right now, and it's hard to really find a bright spot or analyze how they're going to come back into this game because a lot of their early game reliance comes from the amount of levels that they're able to procure, the amount of farm that they're able to get, but this Phantom Lancer barely rocking treads in an Aquila. The Shadow Fiend is even in a worse situation than that.
Mid lane, Arteezy looking to jump in, and we'll find the
he's just
illusion. Yeah. If he hits the real no-tail, maybe he goes there, but can't quite find it.
He's got a fully completed Deso now too. One bad engagement now means the Roshan for EG, even if they're on the Radiant side. And this is huge for them because they've been able to secure their mid tower. They haven't even lost the bottom one LD, and that's the one that allows you to pressure into the jungle and help you get back into this game.
And they got a Midas on the Doom, so it's not like they've been playing like super, all-in-y or mid-game aggression here by any means. OG.
They need to make this move.
They have the mech now. This is the key thing for them. The one item that perhaps can give them a fighting chance in this game. There is no overgrowth yet. Shadow Fiend.
Arteezy's even going to TP out.
It's the Requiem, bottom lane. Crit trying to TP out as well, but the Witcher's Curse is cooling down. Will barely escape. Crit almost joined the ranks of heroes that have died this game, but
that's such unfortunate timing though, LD. They were about to gank for mid, and now they're going to show themselves, but Arteezy...
They have the vac, level 2, they have the wall. Can they take this? They're rolling in, Universe engaging. There's a very nice turn attempted, but no! Too much damage! They bring down the Shadow Fiend. They're too late to the party here. Trying to turn it using the Pale Illusions, jumping onto Universe. He's fairly durable though. Looks like he may be able to make it out. The Shadow Fiend's dead. They get a Wyvern, but that's it as the trade. Another core down. Shards discouraging the push, and while that was going on, the tower bottom fell to the wrath of Arteezy together with the support of Sumail's Doom, who still has the ultimate, and into the pit he goes. He says, you can have our tier 1 mid. We're going to take the bigger objectives. It's slow.
No, this is going... The mid tower is going to go down right now, but they might get the turn around on the no tail, but
they get the Lance up on Universe. They're going to dive this one. They have the Ion Show. Can they even get this kill? No tail, he thinks twice, and while he's busy thinking twice, Arteezy with no backup has been bashed once or twice here in the Roach Pit, so he hasn't finished off yet, but the Doom goes on Moon. It seems they're able to 4v5 this perhaps, while Arteezy just takes it.
Dire's bottom Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
That fight, it doesn't even go well because normally in a situation like that, LD, the Shadow Fiend...
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
I believe may have just been scouted there, walking right near the trap. They seem to know somebody's in the woods, and Fly is about to get caught out. Sentry gets dropped, instantly gone, and onto the top lane they go. The Doom, the punch, you said Miracle couldn't die, but it's all too easy. Another grab for Arteezy. As OG, they're trying to split push now. They know they can't take these fights. They get a double damage up on the PL, and Notel will move into the jungle.
Middle tower is under attack.
But even taking a tower is a bold maneuver. They did commit the Doom there, but still they've got the Chain Frost, they have the Curse. It's going to have to be very dig deep, scrappy Dota for OG to get back in this game.
No-Tail's going to have to channel his inner Bulldog, go for the split push, farm out the enemy jungle as much as he possibly can. There's not a whole lot of opportunities for OG to get into fights. If that wasn't clear 5 minutes ago.
Deso trying to get the jump on a Moon. Ooh, pretty close call there, but the Living Armor helps secure his retreat. They will make it out.
I mean, OG's kind of stabilizing. This Phantom Lancer is getting a decent amount of farm. He still is 4k net worth behind the other two cores. But in a game like this, it's not awful LT. And Phantom Lancer is definitely a hero that can play the 1v5 role. He just needs a lot more farm than this. He probably needs triple the net worth to be able to really make a dent in EG's lineup.
And they don't have the easiest way to deal with the illusions. TA obviously very bad against them. Even Doom, not that, unless you get the jump on Notel, you can easily end up dooming an illusion or just holding it for too long while he massacres your team. They don't have that great AoE carry like an Ember Spirit or a Magnus plus a melee hero. So if he gets the farm, you're definitely right. It could be a very good PL game, but Notel's got a lot of work to do here, sitting about 4k behind all of the cores on EG.
They've got some items now, though. If you notice that Crit has that Glimmer Cape, and they don't have any more items on the Shadow Fiend. He's desperately working towards that Shadow Blade, but all it takes is one fight for OG to get back into this game, get some map control, and this is the one they're going to risk it on, and they definitely have to take this fight cleanly. Even a 3-for-3 trade for them at this point would be a win.
Hell, 2 for 3 wouldn't be so bad.
No, especially if you're able to get Arteezy or Sumail, but they're all grouped up.
Smoke from EG. Not scouted. Arteezy, the man in front here, the double damage rune gets activated by the PL, and they're going to engage. Onto Notel they go, off the bat, trying to catch him out, be doppelgangers. He looks to turn, he's got the living armor on him, but that also reveals which one's real, and now they get off the curse, they jump in with the meld, the Doom as well, Crit's down 2 have fallen, and OG thinking about the Requiem. Do they have any way to interrupt this? He will get it off, a pretty good overgrowth, the Chain Frost though, bouncing, and doing work on OG at 3rd.
Oh, he's not even going to get through!
They look for more, rolling onto Moon, and they're going to bring him down 2, that's 4! Fly, the lone survivor, truly is an emblem here for OG as he runs away. Do they have the vision to hunt him down? No detection. Oh, they tried their blitz, but when you lose your PL and your Rubik that early, very tough fight.
I just want to highlight too, Universe's play. That should definitely be posted everywhere. The Shadow Fiend was about to get the last hit on him. Fear only had like 30 some HP. He catches him with the snowball at the last second, rolls into the next hero. They're able to kill him before Fear dies. Not even catching one hero.
No mercy. Arteezy though, he's in a little bit of trouble here. He's gonna take a lance. This could be a big takedown, but Universe is in position. Could maybe roll him away, buy him time for that refraction to cool down. He gets the blink out. Just a little bit too far ahead. That's a big escape for Arteezy. He cannot afford to be dying with how far ahead he is. That would quickly line the coffers of OG.
That would have been a kill for the Phantom Lancer, and that could have potentially given him his, or close to his Diffusal Blade, which would really help out his farm and his teamfight efficiency. But OG, they were just a little bit too split up in the river.
If they had a 5 there when that combo hit, they might have had at least a slight chance.
Yeah,
but they lost 2 off the bat, and Universe made the sick play.
When they got split up in that river area, No-Tail was going for the rune, Crit was backing him up with the Glimmer Cape. But EG, they were smoked up on their own, and there's no jungle vision whatsoever for OG. So at that point, there's almost zero chance that they can take that fight, especially when EG are grouped up and going for the counter smoke. Usually what OG are trying to do there in that position is hope that you're catching 1 or 2 heroes, just passively farming the jungle. You're hoping that 1 or 2 heroes are in your own jungle, so that at best, you get the numbers advantage at least.
OG are 5 together now. Let's see where they look to go. They have their Shadow Blade up on Miracle, but already PPD, he's prepared not only for that, but also for the Vision game as he's grabbed himself a gem. Also has the Blink to work with, Fear, a glimmer of his own.
I think they're calling No Tail over to smoke. As they're just grouped up around this tier 2. But SF, he's got that Shadow Blade. The amount of impact this item is going to have might be a little bit limited, especially with the gem so early on picked up.
Unless they can kill PPD off the bat, it might be 0.
He's got a Blink Dagger too. This is starting to get a little bit rough.
And they have that trap right now, and Fly is going to deward it. Just realizes something must be up. Let's see, do EG even bother going for the big team fight, or do they just slowly muscle up on mid? Arteezy has the DD run of his own and 2 male engages, gets up the Doom. My god, he gets destroyed! Miracle! It's far too squishy and easily dealt with. Now Crit could be next, although he's got the Glimmer Cape, it isn't gonna matter. Goes down as well. Steals the Arctic Burn to no avail. EG looking for more. No Tail trying to jump back, but the shards are there waiting for him. Across. Universe again. Beautiful catch out. Does he have to roll in? He could go for this, but it'd be a deep dive.
There's still a tower.
They don't want to risk it.
Just gotta relax a little bit.
I mean, when you see someone die that fast, I'm pretty sure this is like a bull with a red cape in front of it. EG just want to go, go, go.
That was actually pretty absurd. The fact that they just dropped 2 different abilities, they doomed him at the same time. Now you see him, now you don't.
I actually thought you were going to flame my analogy there.
No.
You're very gentle.
We're a casting pair today, man. We're very serious.
Okay.
It's the lower bracket finals.
At least for today.
It was 13-2. Now it's 21-2. It's been a while since OG
just look at the trajectory of the graph. There's been no blips. There's been no slip-ups. There's really been nothing that EG's done wrong for 24 minutes. That's impressive.
It's really hard right now to figure out a way for OG to get back into this game. They could go for the split push, which I think they have, but even basic tower defenses don't even really happen anymore. You want to be in a position where it's difficult for the Doom just to go on one target. You want to be able to kind of kite him around, but they can just drop everything on this Shadow Fiend, and after that point, OG just get run over by numbers.
I mean, you say everything. Arteezy can almost solo kill him in 3 shots. They may not even need to commit that much. But OG do get a big item here. Moon is going to grab himself a Blink Dagger. Not really the most amazing game for the wall, but you can at least get that Vlad's, maybe the Alpha Wolf Aura, which could be nice. But it does feel on top of getting the perfect combo with the Vac Wall as well as the trio. Like, they're going to need some crazy steals out of Crit this game.
I think that they can still maybe get into one really good team fight and turn things around somewhat.
And I think EG are respecting that. They know OG have good high ground.
Yeah. You don't want to fight into the Shadow Fiend vacuum combo. We saw it bottom briefly, where it just barely missed. He was trying to get the cast point onto the Shadow Fiend, but they were able to run away because they don't really have the best turnaround, but Chris just going to get doomed up.
Can't steal spells when you're dead. And EG now waiting for the max respawn Roche timer. And it will come back. Arteezy's going to quickly look to deal with this. Sumail into the pit. Arteezy should be grabbing himself another Aegis momentarily. And with that, probably another damage item. As EG look most likely to take this tier 2 bottom and then just straight onto high ground. No reason to leave OG around too long. They've got all the tools they need, it feels.
Yeah, and the split push has to start happening right now for OG. You can't really get into a 5-on-5 engagement, not against an Aegis. And at the very least, you're going to lose this tier 2 tower at bottom. But you just kind of concede that. Miracle's playing a little bit tentatively, but mid.
Punch, Moon just gets wrecked and will be blown up. No Tail, forced to turn and run. He's got the haste, so he should be okay. Gets out a Lance on Arteezy, but he's got the Frost Armor, gonna meld, and then turn and deal with the creep wave. While that's going on, Crit will manage to steal that meld, but against the gem, not much it'll offer him in these upcoming fights.
Yeah, and the hero split pushing right now for OG is going to be the tree, not the ideal target. And with all heroes back in their base now, EG, they're not going to be worried about anything. This is their high ground opportunity.
31 armor up on Arteezy, and he jumps in looking for Crit. The meld dodges there. The gem wasn't in range. Very nicely played. They're going to buy back the Darks here, though. And EG calmly step back.
I think you just go for the tier 2 at bottom at this point. There's no reason to contest. They can afford to wait this out, especially with the Darkseer buyback.
Dire's bottom tower.
They will continue their siege. Moving on to the tier 2. PPD flapping over the hill, just doing a bit of dewarding, ensuring that OG will have no idea what's coming their way when EG go for that high ground breach. Glyph not available on cooldown for a minute and a half. Even if they have buybacks, not sure they'll matter, but only one up on the Shadow Fiend. The Living Armor getting dealt with now, and EG starting to really press in, looking to take that 1-0 advantage. They want their rematch with Secret. They're not there just yet, but this game feeling like it's all but theirs. The Sumail jumps in, he gets up the Doom move, just bought back. He's dead again, out for 50. Quick could be next, the overgrowth's there, not gonna matter. Universe rolls in, right past it, onwards and upwards for the boys in blue as they turn to Miracle. Arteezy deals with him. That's gonna be a 4th kill for the Vitus No Tail. Looks to rejoin, tries to get back in. The Shadow Fiend will buy back, down as well as the tree. OG, the dream in this one is long dead. 29-2. An absolute thrashing. Never did it feel like OG had any kind of momentum. Business as usual for EG.
From 13-2 to 29-2. I don't think they dropped the kill in the last 15 minutes.
This team looks focused today. They are not here to play around. There will be no mercy for OG unless they can pull it together on their own.